Hello, welcome back to Talk of the Town. The historic Rose Hill Mansion, known as the most beautiful plantation house in the Low Country, is a private residence located within the gated community of Rose Hill Plantation. The home was originally built in the late 1850s, and after a long restoration beginning in 1997, the home now is shared with the public each and every day via guided history tours. Joining us today, Cynthia Glendenning, Director of Rose Hill Mansion, to share more about the history of this treasured home. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So talk a little bit about the history of the mansion and, you know, what services it performs today.
Thank you. Yes, in 1799, Rose Hill Mansion was owned by James Kirk, and he grew rice. Rice was actually the dominant crop in the Low Country. It was St. Luke's Parish back then. It wasn't yet Beaufort County. It was very lucrative, and then they brought up something called Sea Island cotton. That was from Barbados, and it was brought up in the mid-1700s, and it was a much longer, silkier fiber. It actually thrived in this area, and they also grew something called indigo, which was a blue dye. James Kirk also co-founded the town of Bluffton. It was Kirk's Landing, Kirk's Bluff, Blufftown, Bluffton, and he also donated the land and all the proceeds for the Church of the Cross to be built as well. And then when he died, he left it to his heirs, but before that he gave it to his daughter Caroline in 1838 as a wedding present. And it was a very unusual home for its day. You didn't see anything like that architecture in the South. It was Gothic revival, Carpenter Gothic as they also called it. And they think they got the idea from the Kirk's extended honeymoon in Great Britain. Very unusual architecture, as I said, for the South.
I bet.
And James Kirk was a physician, also a planter, thrived on the Sea Island cotton, and did very well. And that house was also occupied by Union troops during the war, and you had a lot of young men bivouacked on that plantation during the war as well. And we found mini balls in the back, cannons under these oak trees. We actually have things just appear, and it's amazing because we're like, how can this be here after so many years, hundreds of years? And
it's almost unbelievable.
It is, but the archaeologists say it's because these live oaks, they keep growing, and the roots can actually push stuff up to the surface. So we find these treasures, these old Spanish coins and monogram buttons. There was actually a house at Rose Hill Plantation before the current house, going back to the early 1700s. So the history is just amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's unbelievable. So people can actually do guided tours and to hear whether they live here or, you know, a tourist. I mean, it's amazing. I've never been through it. I need to go through it.
Well, it's funny you say that because there's so many locals that say, we've heard about Rose Hill Mansion, but we've never really been there. We don't really know where it is. And we offer tours weekdays at 2 o'clock. We offer wine when people first arrive, and we actually let you take that wine room to room on the tours and sit on the furniture. So it's a very unusual, relaxed tour. And following the tour, we have a tea party with cakes, cookies, pies, cheeses, all kinds of peach tea, lemonade. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Speaking about wine, you have a neat event coming up, I think, starting October 3rd.
Exactly right. We're going to be featuring the Rose Hill wines. We have lovely Pinot Grigios, reds, muscadines, which are a sweeter dessert wine. They're really delicious, and that's actually a grape that's grown locally. And you do have vineyards here, and we're going to be featuring a historical wine, which we're really excited about. There were actually vineyards here in Beaufort County in the 1700s.
Wow.
And that wine was brought over by the French Huguenots in the 1700s. They brought over 2 French vines, and they mingled that with a local wine. And it's a delicious wine. It's a very dry, very palatable wine, and I think people will really enjoy it. And we will be featuring that on our Wine Wednesday starting October 3rd.
Yeah. So what time will something like that start? And will there be also a tour with that?
Yes, that will go 6 to 8. Okay. We're going to have gorgeous hors d'oeuvres with that. The food will be outstanding. And they'll get a free tour, pretty much, of the mansion. So it's a good value.
Yeah, people will get tickets online, or they can call the mansion?
They can call and prepay it, or they can also buy the tickets when they arrive.
Yeah, that should be a fun event. So what other services do you offer? Because it's not just tours.
No, it's not. We do a lot of weddings. We had a beautiful wedding here this weekend. Weddings are very popular at Rose Hill Mansion because the house, it looks like a church. It's Carpenter Gothic or Gothic, so it's a beautiful backdrop. We've got the live oaks. People get tents. It's just gorgeous. They have full use of the mansion as our guest cottage. And we do a lot of events there, a lot of family reunions, corporate events, that kind of thing is extremely popular.
Yeah,
Oyster roast.
I bet. Just to join the history with the current, I mean, it must be a really remarkable place to have an event like that.
It is. The current homeowners did a remarkable job at the restoration of this property. It suffered a terrible fire in 1987 when it was being used as a real estate office by the developer of Rose Hill Plantation. And the plantation literally grew up, Rose Hill, around the old plantation house. Wow. And the Whites have done a remarkable job at the restoration of that. And we'd love for everybody to come out and see it.
Absolutely. To gather more information, where can our audience go?
Well, they can go to rosehillmansion.com, and we're also on Facebook.
Okay, and I know we have the numbers, the phone number, and the website flashing back and forth, so they can also gather more information about what services you offer as well.
They can.
And
absolutely.
The hours of the tours and
yes,
and
2 o'clock weekdays for our tours. And they're more than welcome to call and get more information, and we'll fine-tune it for them.
Yeah, and don't forget October 3rd is the evening of the wine.
Yes, please come out and sample the Rose Hill Plantation wine. A lot of the local restaurants will be carrying that as well. It's very, very good, even for the most discerning palate. It's delicious.
Fun evening. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing the
history of the mansion.
Thank you for having me. And we will be right back with Talk of the Town.